All right, Blood and Guts is off the air. I'm Andrew Baydala. That is Blake Mitchmore. A lot to talk about on tonight's show. Blake, how the hell are you?
I'm ready to burn somebody alive is how I am.
Wow. Okay, might go to jail for that. Might go to jail for that, buddy. We almost saw that tonight. We almost saw Darby.
Right. Darby's trying to kill people.
I mean, I can't blame him. He was hung upside down, so you know.
Yeah.
Hey. Let's get into some of these comments real quick. What's up, boys? What's up, Steven? Steve, what's going on? Thanks for joining in. What's up, Corey? Cracking the cruise and waiting for the boys. We're here, so crack them on up. Crack them on up. Jay goes Blake. Let's see. Scott Steiner says what? Where is Scott Steiner? Great blood and guts match. Good way to debut Camille. Listen, we'll get to that. I agree with the Camille thing. Why don't we, Blake, watch it with a straight face?
It's true. I did.
Let's talk about some things here. Let's talk about what we just saw on Blood and Guts. The main event was Team AEW versus Team Elite. I said earlier, Blake, that tonight seemed more of like a launching pad for some feuds and a continuation for some feuds. And we saw that with the conclusion. Right. It seems like this entire match was to build towards Darby and Jack Perry and to get some insane spots. The chair shot in the match from Darby to Jack.
Don't need those in 2024.
Yeah, was wild. And then the one from Briscoe to the open head with no, protection.
Don't need that shit in 2024, man.
Wild. Listen, if you guys go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've had too many concussions personally for that kind of shit.
Yeah. Listen, if you like blood and guts, obviously, and this is coming from an ECW kid. Like I grew up watching ECW. I loved ECW. Absolutely loved ECW. That was my era. I loved the hardcore. I loved the blood. I love the guts. For me, this match was exactly as advertised. This was blood and guts. There was a lot of big spots. There was a lot of dangerous spots. There were a lot of spots where you're sitting back being like, holy shit. And that's what this is all about. But for me, this match was good, but I wasn't left like, all right, like they've had better shows. AEW's had better shows, in my opinion. And the past couple of weeks have shown that. Tonight was a good show, but comparing it to last week's, I don't even think it comes close. Just me.
You love getting in them guts, don't you?
One person's guts. I'm married, so.
Oh, right. I had to wait. Like that joke was in my head for like 2 minutes while you were talking. I had to sit there and wait to get it out.
All right. Well, again, I thought last week's show was better than this week's show, and that's with a double cage and double rings. I'm a huge fan of the War Games concept. Again, I said it earlier. The Elite had no reason to get into this match. They did. It's now 1-1. The Elite have won. Team AEW has won. We're going to see the rubber match here, the third match, where I don't know. Maybe in Chicago, maybe somewhere else. Who the hell knows? But what I will say is the Elite are missing one championship. So what you could do in Chicago or at another pay-per-view is have Team Elite put all their titles on the line and then Swerve have to put his title on the line. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. Again, last week for me was better. This was exactly as advertised, though. This was blood and guts, but it seemed like to me this match was solely to get Jack Perry and Darby Allin to Wembley Stadium. Just me.
Yeah, so I don't know about whether I think last week was better or not. I think tonight was a good show. Last week was a good show. But the ending of this match was a little goofy for me. I mean, this angle started as the Elite trying to take over. I mean, they took out Tony, and now, yeah, I mean, the way the match ended, the whole match was about getting to a mid-card title match at Allin. Yeah, it was just really fun to watch, really entertaining, but the ending was goofy.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. For me, the ending was goofy. Again, I thought the best part of this show, which we'll get into as we review the show entirely, was Mariah May and Tony Storm. That was the best part of the show for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. We had thumbtacks in someone's mouth and a super kick to that, which was an interesting spot. We had staple guns. But again, I also really dug how Hangman Page handcuffed Swerve and waited for him to come out. That was really smart. They really played up on the fact that Swerve and Hangman hate each other, and Hangman is only seeing red, and that red is towards Swerve Strickland, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. It's interesting, though, because we had a little moment there with Okada and Swerve. Could they be using this towards All In?
No.
Right.
There was another moment in the match that I think is going to go to All In.
What's that?
Hangman and Okada.
Okay.
You said your favorite part of the night was Tony Storm and Mariah. I think my favorite part was all the dead family member jokes.
Yeah, you were very bothered by this.
Oh, yeah, and you called me soft for it.
Get over it.
Like, sorry, I don't think it's cool. Like, hey, your fat dead grandma, and hey, you know what? You're a puss because you get over the fact that your dad died.
I didn't say that. I did. First of all, I'm not going to let the world know that. You're a close friend of mine. I wasn't going to say that.
No, that's what Nick said to fucking Kip Sabian.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean,
that was the second joke.
Yeah. Get over it.
And I'll say that. Yeah. That's where, I mean, my dad died. It'll be 19 years in November. And I'm sorry. You ain't making, I don't give a shit how much you pay me. You ain't making a fucking joke like that to me.
No,
so,
it is what it is. Yeah, wait, hold on a second. The chat is saying Okada and Hangman. Isn't that what I said? Did I say Swerve and Hangman?
Yes, you said Swerve and Okada.
Oh, sorry. I don't, my brain. Right now, there's a million things going on.
I corrected you. Was like, yeah. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, sorry. Swerve and Bryan Danielson will face each other at All In, obviously. And I think Okada and Hangman Page will be facing each other at All In. There was a moment there. So
100% they set that up tonight.
Yeah. Again, Blood and Guts was exactly what it was. You know what's interesting is the whole FTR Acclaimed Young Buck situation, because FTR said they were going buck hunting. The Acclaimed want the tag team titles, but are they going to get that at All In? We had a lot of stuff made official tonight for All In, but again, Blood and Guts was exactly what it was. Bunch of nasty, horrific spots, and that's exactly what this match is intended for. But for me, it seemed as if this match was to just get AEW with a victory. Team Elite's already got one. We're going to get the rubber match, and we're going to get Darby and Jack Perry for the TNT title at Wembley Stadium. Again, I don't mind it. They're using their television product to sell pay-per-view matches. It's smart. But normally Blood and Guts ends a feud. I don't know what Joe Wood is smoking, by the way, because Joel tried to tell me that Blood and Guts doesn't normally end a feud or blow off a feud. Last year it did, and 2 years before that it did. Don't get me wrong. There's sometimes they go back and revisit it like 6 months later in terms of like this person versus that person. But those matches at Blood and Guts did not go into All In or the year before that at All Out. So,
well, Joel Wood sucks. We know that.
I like Joel. Joel's a good dude. Let's talk about how this show started, okay? Because we just talked about the ending. Team AEW gets the victory. The Young Bucks quit and said that, if he doesn't, he's going to light him on fire. Darby Allin was like, listen, I'm going to light this guy on fire. And, the Young Bucks were like, okay, well, we're going to have to quit here. And
murder on live TV.
Yeah, Matthew Jackson was just like, can't do it. Just can't do it. So we got to quit. And
sorry,
I'll give you your
Darby,
match.
Can't let you kill a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, again, Blood and Guts was exactly what Blood and Guts was. A lot of spots, staple guns, all this. I feel bad for Doc Samson. That's who I feel bad for tonight. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Pull some staples out of some people.
Yeah, probably stitch some people. So, again, Blood and Guts was Blood and Guts. But, again, I think this normally leads to something where it blows the feud off, and now it's building blocks. So it is what it is. Let's talk about how the show started. We had the international champion, Formula International.
Not the international champion.
Right. MJF came out. We had this huge America celebration. They're really leaning into the whole presidential campaign that's going on right now from both the Democratic and Republican parties, it seems. And we saw MJF rename the championship. the AEW American Championship. I love this for Max. A lot of people were like, what the hell? And I was like, listen, Max is a heel. Why should he give a shit about defending the championship internationally or with any other promotions? Or why would he be that workhorse that the championship was designed to have a person, be the person who's holding it? He's not that guy. He's a heel. He's about money. He's about, making the one-off appearances here, and he doesn't wrestle for free and all this other stuff. Max is your prototypical shit-eating, grinning heel. What's the problem? I loved it.
I have no problem with it from a storyline perspective, and it's just smart. AEW knows if you make a belt, people are going to buy it. So why not make another belt? I mean, I'm sure Corey's going to buy the son of a bitch. He has every other belt on the planet.
So to that point, MJF has 2 custom championships in a matter of 2 years. So good for him. I mean, that championship is not going to be held by anybody else. It's got MJF legitimately designed on it. So
the best thing of the night was the MJF
flag,
the American flag that was MJF's head as the stars.
See, I'm gonna be honest with you, military family.
Fuck off. You're
cool
like
with
fucking. You're fucking cool with fuck your dead grandma, but if somebody makes a flag and you're offended, give me a break.
Oh, listen, I get it. It's good heat. I'm not gonna sit here and be like I can't watch this stuff. There were, but I'm just saying.
Max literally said your dead grandma's a fat piece of shit about Will Ospreay, but you're good with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to each their own.
I mean, come on. But
I don't know.
Don't disrespect the Stars and Stripes, you son of a bitch.
Listen, all I'm saying is, again, I love how Max was working hardest for the Boars.
Jesus Christ.
That was great. We get MJF and Will Ospreay official for All In at Wembley Stadium. This is the right way to go. Right. For all you jabronis who were like, they're definitely doing Danny Garcia and MJF. I am thankful they're not. No offense to Danny Garcia. We said this last week. Max needs to be one of the final bosses that Danny tries to get over, and we can have that match at All Out in Chicago. It works. But we cannot have it at All In. All right.
Yeah, not like I said last week. I mean, to use the WWE analogy, Cody Rhodes isn't going to fight Grayson Waller in the main event of WrestleMania or at WrestleMania. Max doesn't need to fight Danny Garcia. He can fight him on another show. Maybe next year, if Danny's on that level, then they can fight at AEW's biggest show. But that's not All In is your biggest show of the year. Danny Garcia and Max is not an All In match.
No. And it's definitely not. Danny Garcia and, like I said, MJF, I don't mind it at All Out. In Chicago, that works. MJF gets the victory and, touts that Danny's still not ready, et cetera, et cetera. That's fine. I think Will's going to have his moment at Wembley Stadium, though. I think we're crazy to think he's not.
Yeah, I agree. And this was just getting the international / American championship on Max was just a vehicle to get to them having a lot. Well, it allowed them to have the match at 250, and it was a vehicle to get another match at All In.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
I mean, Max is going to have the belt for 6 weeks.
Jay says, I think All In is looking way better this year than it did last year. Yeet. I'm sure you meant to say yeah, but listen, I agree.
I would say yes.
Yeah. I like the MJF Cole match. I like that whole build and everything else like that.
I didn't like that as much because of the stupid fact that they worked the stupid 0-hour show.
Yeah, the 0-hour thing, I had a problem with that too, but because somebody could get hurt and, whatever. But I agree. I think this year's All In is stacked. Was Danielson on last year?
No, he was hurt. He got hurt at Double or Nothing or whatever.
No, Forbidden Door.
Listen,
you're right. You're
whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's like CM Punk. It's like CM Punk. He gets hurt every 3 months. Listen, I just think if you go back to last year and what they did, the show was great. Every AEW pay-per-view is great from a wrestling perspective. What they're doing right now in terms of storytelling, far superior to what they were doing this time last year.
Oh, 100%. And that's why I don't mind.
That's why I think the show is better. And I am more looking forward to it than I was last year, because what AEW is doing from a storytelling perspective is far superior to what they were doing in 2023.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't mind tonight's blood and guts and how it went off the air. Like, is
goofy,
it
but yeah, I mean,
yeah, is it the norm? No, but what you did was you built story and intrigue to another match at a pay-per-view. Makes a lot of sense. Just like this year's All In has, and a lot of people in the chat are saying it. Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner said it. All In has a lot more build this year than it did last year. I agree. Totally agree. I mean, last year was a bunch of 6 and tag team man matches, and it was like, meh.
They are, you've got what, 4 or 5 matches set already, and we've got 6 weeks till the show.
Yeah. Yeah. The ones that were made official, there's 4 of them. Timeless Tony Storm versus the Glamour Mariah May, MJF and Will, Jack Perry and Darby, and Swerve and Danielson. So, and those are 4 big matches. And we're getting Britt. They're
building Britt and Mercedes. It's just not official yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's another great match.
I think what they're doing from a storytelling perspective far outweighs last year.
Well, and the other, go ahead.
It makes the show a lot more, not to say the show was appealing last year because it was their first stadium show and all that stuff. But this is my personal issue with AEW a lot of times is I'm just watching a pay-per-view to watch good wrestling matches. There's actually shit they're doing right now that I want to watch. They're making me want to watch stuff, which is, shows that they're taking the next step, in my opinion.
Yeah. A lot of people want to sit back and say AEW is not telling stories. They are. I think now more than ever. Again, I liked last week a lot better, but they continuously are giving you weekly episodic television that builds and builds and builds, which is good. There's no more starting and stopping, which is something I had a giant problem with, months and months ago. I think for the past, I've been saying this for the past 3 to 4 months. I think AEW has done a really good job of continuing their storyline progressions. I really do. Jericho.
They've done a really good job since Double or Nothing.
Yeah. I think even before that. Jericho beats Suzuki with the Judas Effect retaining the FTW championship. We saw Shibata enter the ring and save Suzuki during the beatdown with Bill and Keith. Shibata and Jericho, I'm going to say it all in.
That's what it seems like. This is the one thing on the show that I could probably pinpoint and go, who gives a shit? But I just say one thing in a show, who gives a shit is not bad. I mean, there's usually 3 or 4 things, so that's not the end of the world. But there's just no, I respect what Chris is doing because he's doing a character just to piss off the internet fans, and he's doing a great job of it. But there's no direction for it. It's literally, that just seems like that's the only purpose, is to piss off the internet. And so it's just kind of running thin at this point. Shibata and Jericho, I mean, fine. That, we just talked about storytelling. That's not a story that grabs me, and not something I care about. But hey, if there's 7 or 8 things on the show you really care about and one you don't, no big deal.
Yeah. Again, like you said, Jericho and Suzuki was a match that I didn't hate to see, but I just didn't think it was hitting. It wasn't firing on all cylinders, and it was what it was. And we're probably going to get Shibata and Jericho at All In, and that's it. Let's talk about what we saw backstage, which I put a comment on social media, Twitter, X, during the show. And we got an interview conducted with Renee and Brian Danielson. He talks about the doctor, Doc Sampson, telling him that his neck is currently fixable and they want to try and keep it that way. Jeff Jarrett rolls into the picture here and says Danielson needs to go all in. And it seems as if, and Danielson admits to this, he says, he's got some thinking to do mentally and everything else like that. It seems as if, to me, what's happening here is very reminiscent of the whole Bret Hart in '96, because Tony's a historian. He loves the history of the business. I remember when Bret was kind of talking about how he's winding down his career, and then Vince offered him a big contract, which ended up being the screw job. What came to the screw job. And Brett came back at the Garden and he was making his way towards another championship, et cetera, et cetera. The story here with Danielson, the way I draw the parallels here is Danielson seems to be, in his words, wrapping up his career. Seems as if All In, maybe Wrestle Dream, et cetera, will be it. I think they are kind of foreshadowing that Danielson is going to win the championship at All In. And I look at Bryan Danielson as AEW's Bret the Hitman Hart. I'm not quite sure Danielson's going away now. I really don't know. It's very interesting. That interview kind of put things in perspective to me of whether, okay, Danielson's going to win the championship. Maybe he drops it at Wrestle Dream to Swerve like you had talked about before, and I agree. And then maybe he rides off into the sunset and he's an agent in terms of his in-ring career. Maybe he's an agent and does some things here and there. But I don't know. This gave me a little bit of doubt that Danielson's actually going to hang him up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know Bryan Danielson, but the guy he appears to be, I don't think, unless that's just storyline, the story he told about his daughter, I don't anticipate him being one to go back on his word like that. But I don't think it means he's done. I think it means he shows up every so often. Maybe like he does a run from Double or Nothing to All In every year when his kid's not in school and he can travel more. But to me, I didn't draw the Bret Hart parallel. To me, it was, I think they're setting up for their own version of Danielson at WrestleMania 30, the ultimate underdog story. Instead of, fighting Triple H and then fighting Batista and Randy Orton, it's going to be fighting through all his injuries and, one last run and all that stuff. The thing about this and it got compounded later in the show, like the Jeff Jarrett component's just fucking weird.
What doesn't do it for you with Jeff?
I just don't get where Jeff fits. Like, what is he like? Brian's like, mentor, his grandpa that's trying to, fucking
Peepaw Jarrett.
I mean, what? It's just, I need more context. That just didn't fit for me. Like, we've never seen a connection outside of the fact that Jarrett was the special enforcer after 6 weeks of, hey, I'm going to win the Owen.
I think it puts sympathy on Brian because Jarrett is like, hey, you got to win this.
But I just need more context. Obviously, it just didn't fit for me. I was like, really? Jeff Jarrett's giving motivational speeches now?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. But weird. I think Jarrett is what they're using him as is to awaken the dragon that is Bryan Danielson so that he can be ready for Swerve at All In. And it'll be interesting because let's just say Bryan wins. Does Jeff Jarrett get a championship shot? Because I
would not watch AEW ever again.
Right.
If Jeff
that's the thing. It's like, it's very interesting. Like, I love that Jeff's involved. I get that they're.
Here we go. I got it. Bryan Danielson wins. Jeff turns heel and Jeff takes the belt off of him and retires it.
No, that'd be dumb. No thanks.
Listen,
my brain hurts just thinking about that.
I mean, I'll let it play out to see what Jeff's role is in this. It was just weird, man.
Yeah, I think Jeff Jarrett's kind of like, passing the sympathy off to Bryan so that
Jeff Jarrett's going to be like in Danielson's corner or something like that, and All In miss me with that shit.
I think that's very possible.
That's stupid if that's the case. Stupid.
He's Owen's best friend,
Okay, we've never made a connection to Owen and Danielson's entire fucking career until now.
No, I understand that, but I mean, I think they're just using the sympathy angle to put the crowd fully behind Bryan.
Stupid. I will shit on that. I don't shit on a lot. I try to be rational.
You don't?
Jeff Jarrett in Bryan Danielson's corner at All In is dumb if that happens.
Well, I mean, maybe he could. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you you're wrong, but I have your opinion's not wrong, but I have a funny feeling that we're going to go off the air at All In. Me and you might be watching that pay-per-view together where Danielson and Jarrett are having a moment in the ring.
No. That's so stupid.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you want it, but like, no. Jeff Jarrett at 77 years old, or however
He's
old
not
he is,
77, dude.
should not be in the final shot of AEW's biggest show of the year. No.
He's 57. Oh, listen, I agree with you. I don't think Jarrett should play like an intricate role here in this match, but I have a funny feeling that Jarrett is going to congratulate Brian.
I mean, listen, I have all the respect for Jeff personally, because the fact that Jeff is in a prominent role in wrestling at 57, props to you. But from a fan perspective and from an entertainment perspective, fuck out of here with that.
Dude, they were behind him. I mean, the crowd, everybody online, the crowd was behind him.
And that's props to Jeff. Like I said, from a personal standpoint, props to Jeff. He is 600 years old and getting himself over in 2024.
Speaking of people who are not 600 years old, we have Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Shida. Britt wins. Mercedes comes out. And she says, you want to match it all in, et cetera, et cetera. My answer is no. And then out comes Camille, and she beats the holy shit out of Britt Baker, puts her in the torture rack. They call it the back breaker rack, but it's a torture rack. All right. Fucking stack marbles on the freeway.
Torture rack copyrighted or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then Mercedes and Camille are off to the races. I love Camille being Mercedes' heater. I love the fact that Mercedes is full-blown heel. I know she has been for a couple of weeks, but this is just like another little added sazon onto it, and I dig it. This is the Mercedes I think we all wanted. I didn't want her coming out pandering to the crowd. Just like, truthfully, I'll be honest with everybody, and me and Blake talked about this privately. When Punk got into AEW, the whole like comeback tour was cool, but I hated Punk pandering every week to the crowd. It was kind of like, Jesus, awesome. Phil, like, let's fucking get it together here. So for me, this is the Mercedes we all wanted, and Camille as her heater is fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I have some opinions on how I think Mercedes handles her business from a personal standpoint, but from a wrestling standpoint and this character, I thought it was perfect. I mean, to give her a heater like Camille, and Camille reminded me, like, to a degree of China, the way she like just stood out how big she was tonight.
Well, it was interesting because I put out the Brett tweet, and then I was like, I can't put out China tweet. People are just gonna be like, this 19, what is Drew living in 96, 97? But it was very reminiscent of that.
I'm not going to say what's in my head, because I don't think I can say it in a way that it won't come off really bad. But
that's ever stopped you before.
Well, yeah, but there's certain things you can't talk about. Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect. I mean, I think that, I saw a couple people posting like Shawn Michaels and Diesel photos from back in the day.
No.
Or
can we stop there for a second? I have a question to ask you. Why is that everybody's first go-to? I know it was
just
good.
What everybody thinks of when you think of like chicken shit heel with heater.
But I thought your Triple H and China comparison was great.
I mean, I think that's one too, but I just think that's top of mind for a lot of people. But it doesn't matter. You can say whoever you want. I mean, Triple H and China, Triple H and Rick Rude, Shawn Michaels and Rick Rude. Just that it's a timeless tradition in wrestling. A chicken shit heel with a big heat. I mean, MJF and Wardlow at the beginning of AEW is another comparison. A chicken shit heel with a big heater to do his dirty work always works.
I agree. Hell yeah. And I think this works for Mercedes. I loved it. I'm excited to see where this goes. We had Mariah May after this. Oh, no, we had Pac, right? I think it was Pac against Bear Boulder. Pac gets the victory here. And let's talk about this. There's a lot of discourse on social media. There was a lot of back and forth, some disagreements here with why is Pac getting an international, now the American Championship opportunity. And the announcers touched on it. He is. Where and when, we don't know, but he is. It's not at All In. I think it's at All Out, truthfully. And it'll be interesting to see. I thought that Pac would be on the All-In card, and that door is obviously still open. Maybe you get debuting Ricochet. I don't know.
That's what I
really
think is going to happen.
All right. Well, there you go.
I mean, that's just. I don't think there's any way Tony doesn't put Pac on a card at Wembley. He's a British guy, so he's going to be on the card. And obviously, everything points. I mean, they haven't announced it yet, but everything points to Ricochet going to AEW, and that just seems like to me, that's a perfect match to start the show with. You get Pac out there in front of his hometown fans. You get a big spot fest. You get Ricochet's debut. I mean, yeah, I think that that's what I would, if I was going to try to predict something, that's what I would say at this point is that I do think Pac's on All In. I think Pac, whether they call it an open challenge or, something, and Ricochet's a surprise or they announce it before, but I think that's what happens.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Ricochet and Pac makes a ton of sense. It's a big match card too. They can, in terms of, Wembley Stadium, in terms of that crowd, I think they could save that for a week before or even at the venue. Like, I think Pac could come out and cut a promo about how he's, the number one contender, et cetera, and he doesn't have a match on this show, and bang, out comes Ricochet.
Yeah. However you do it. I mean, I think that's where it's going.
Yeah.
At this point, I would probably leave it to some kind of surprise, whether, like you said, Pac comes out or Pac says he's going to be it All In. He's going to call somebody out and just have a moment of Ricochet's debut at All In.
The problem with this, though, that more than I think about it, too, is like who wins that match? Because you can't have Ricochet losing his debut, and you can't have Pac lose on his way to the International Championship, can you? That's what's interesting. Like, if Ricochet does debut, maybe they just show him in the crowd at Wembley, or maybe he signs his contract at Wembley. Maybe Pac takes on somebody else, truthfully. Because I don't think you can have him.
I don't think you can have Pac something. You got to give Pac something of substance. Like, if Pac's fighting freaking
Joe Schmo,
Trent Beretta or something, like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, Joe Schmo from Liverpool. Let's talk about Mariah May. Mariah May comes out to her new gimmick. I liked it. I saw on the, I don't want to call it the Titantron, but the video monitors, this big screen, that she had like the crazy lipstick, almost like Chelsea Green.
I think Cat's that too.
Yeah, but she didn't come out wearing it, so it was kind of like, okay, like
freaking hot.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and she's a very good-looking woman. Mariah beats Storm Zero by pinfall. She did a drop kick that was ridiculous. That knocked Storm Zero on her ass.
No joke, that was.
But the Tony Storm music hit, Timeless Tony Storms, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, they're actually going to pull her out right now, and she's going to come down from the ramp and everything else. And Mariah May smiled, and I was like, very well done. That's very, very well done. Heel shit. And then boom, Tony's behind her dressed up as a crew member. Tony looks a little crazy, looks a little different, looks like she hasn't slept in a little bit. I still think we're staying with the Timeless Tony Storm gimmick.
I think so too after tonight.
I know you thought differently. That was my question.
I did until tonight's segment.
Yeah. All right, good. But again, way to continue to build this match. I hope you're ready to die, because I am. Tony, Mariah, it's going to be, no pun intended, it's going to be, they're out for blood. I mean, and I like it. That I will be seated for that one for sure.
This is one of the best. I mean, we talked about storytelling earlier. This is one of the best stories they're telling right now, hands down. And I thought everything was great tonight. I will say that I did start to wonder, based on how it's being built, whether Mariah May wins or not. And I had thought from up until this point that hands down Mariah May wins it at All In, but I'm starting to wonder now.
I think Mariah's going to win. Joel Haywood's,
I would probably lean that way, but just the way they're building it makes me think it's not foregone anymore.
Do you think Mariah's going to take the championship as well?
I lean that way, yes. But like I said, the angle tonight and just the way the story is building, I don't think it's 100% certain anymore. Whereas before I would have gone, 100%. She's British. It's All In. It's Wembley. She's winning the title.
Yeah. I do believe Mariah May will walk out with the AEW World's Women's Championship. Tony's held it for a while, and rightfully so. She's the best thing in AEW from the women's division. Joel says, can't listen now, but we'll watch later. Want to give the show support. Balanced opinion should be the norm. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that, and you are right. Curvin says, wait, Andrew here now? Hey, cool. Bet on yourself. I've always bet on myself, but this has been going on for a long time now. I shouldn't say a long time, but long enough. Speaking of something that will be going on, myself and this guy, Blake Mitchmore, will be at ROH Death Before Dishonor in Arlington.
Versus Lee Moriarty, here I come.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. I will be on the Tony Khan media call tomorrow, and then I will fly my ass to Arlington. And then I believe if people are local in Dallas who hear this or the Arlington area and are coming to the show, me and Blake will probably be at the Live by Lowe's having one or two
Drew's
sodas.
A big strip club guy. Whatever strip club you want to go to.
I first of all, God forbid my kids ever see this. I do not. I hate strip clubs. That's why he says that. I think strip clubs are pointless. I think it's the biggest ripoff. You throw money at chicks that you ain't going home with, so there's no point. But that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Thank you for that. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of strip clubs. It's not because the women aren't good looking. Like I said, it's just a pointless endeavor for me. But we will be at the Live by Lowe's at the bar or the surrounding areas having some food and some drinks. So if you want to come through, come through. We're going to also be at the Collision. Yeah, right. We'll be at Collision as well at the Esports Stadium in Arlington. We're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to checking out the building. But yeah, we talked about the main event, but I do want to say this. A lot of people were complaining about Briscoe's involvement. And I'll say this. I think that Mark Briscoe's involvement is a replacement for Eddie Kingston. I think that's Eddie's spot, but Eddie's hurt. So,
yeah, I mean, I thought going into the match, like, where does Mark fit into the Elite storyline? But as far as Mark was fine in the match tonight. He worked. He was, he didn't stand out as like being awkward or anything like that. It worked. I mean, it worked better than I thought it would. So, leading into it though, it was just kind of like, okay, well, and it wasn't necessarily that Mark was in the match. It was that Mark was the first member of Team AEW. That was the weird part.
Yeah, I get that, but they wanted to build towards Swerve and stuff like that.
I mean, that was the weird part though. It wasn't necessarily that had Mark had just been a team member announced a couple of weeks in, I don't think it comes off near as weird.
I also don't think the Acclaim were supposed to be involved in this match. I think it was supposed to be FTR. Just me. Mark Briscoe played a pivotal role in this match. I mean, the chair shots.
He murdered Jack Perry's head.
Yeah. And if you guys and girls don't think that that Jack's kind of like Raven, I mean, I don't know what more you need to see. I mean, Jack even does this when he comes out. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying.
He's like Raven's bastard son.
Yeah. Well, he's somebody's son.
Hey, man, let's make a joke about that. That fits the
That's why I said it. Again, I thought last week's show was better. That doesn't mean this week's show wasn't good. AEW continues to give you weekly episodic television that builds and progresses storyline. So it's good. Let's spend the last 5 to 6 minutes of this show because we're going to get off the air here. We like to be in and out in 45 minutes. I don't like to do the 2-hour show.
3 hours.
You know you haven't gone 3 hours a day in your life.
Good point. Maybe.
Ladies, he'll be at the Live by Lowe's in Arlington. He'll give you the best 46 seconds.
Maybe when I was younger, when I drank too much one night, but yeah, right. Those are bad nights.
Ladies, he will give you the best 46 seconds of your life at the Live by Lowe's. Come by.
Dude, I'm 42. It's probably like 25 seconds now.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. There's stuff for that. We're not sponsored by Blue Chew, but if we'd love a sponsorship. Anyways, let's talk about what a lot of people
Blue Chew.
Got it. I still love you, dude. You're still my guy. Sorry about that. Are your balls going to pack up and leave any day now or what?
I don't know if they work anymore.
They're getting tired of this shit. Let's talk about what everybody was talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's talk about what everybody was talking about, and that is AEW and the media rights deal. I said it was imminent. It seems like imminent was a poor choice of words. It seems like it's coming shortly. Again, all signs point to AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery doing business together in the not so distant future. They're not going anywhere. The funny thing that happened was Warner Brothers Discovery matched the NBA's media rights for their C package, which Amazon had the quote unquote rights to or had the bid on. And now we're in a situation where the NBA is like, nah, we're still going with Amazon. You didn't quote unquote meet the entire package, which will be interesting to see how the NBA and their top-notch lawyers word this, because we are headed to litigation. I mean, TNT even put out, Warner Brothers Discovery put out a statement saying, yeah, we're going to see you in court. Basically, that's what the statement was. A lot of legal mumbo jumbo. But what's interesting here for me is I talked about this with Blake privately, but I'll say it here. Wouldn't it be interesting if AEW gets the Warner Brothers Discovery deal and Warner Brothers Discovery gets a settlement from the NBA that maybe Amazon pays for them to just go away because Amazon's got more money than Jesus Christmas, and says, yeah, here you want, what'd you need? $750 for your media rights? Here you go. And guess who paid for it? The NBA. Interesting. Right. Very interesting.
I mean, listen, I'll say this. I don't think the NBA Warner deal has any bearing on whether or not AEW signs with Warner again.
Oh, none. I agree with you. None.
I think it's not. But what I will say is if there's any shadow of like the deal not being done yet, that son of a bitch is getting done now for sure, because Warner needs AEW again.
Well, it's not that AEW needs Warner and Warner needs
that. That's what I said. I said Warner needs AEW now again.
I don't think either of them. Again, to your point, I don't think anybody needs anybody. I think what they're looking
Warner
for
needs it for content at this point.
Well, what my point was going, which is I think you made a good one. Warner needs it for good press right now, because right now they're getting. We went with the hot blonde. That's young. Well, that's basically what happened.
And let's be real. I mean, content is king in 2024, and right now, if they don't sign AEW, Warner's going, all right, we don't have the NBA during the week. We don't have AEW on Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday.
I know what we'll do. We'll get some NFL replays. That's what we'll do.
What the shit are we putting on our network? So from that standpoint, like I said, I don't think in all reality, I don't think it has any bearing on it. I think the deal's, on the 5-yard line and at worst right now, if it's not already done. But if for some reason there is even a little bit, that son of a gun's getting done now for sure, because
100%.
Warner needs it.
100%. Warner needs the good press right now, and I'm telling you right now, Warner Brothers Discovery knew exactly what they were doing, and it was a win-win. And I said this 2 days ago. They were either going to get the media rights, which they wanted, or they were going to get some sort of settlement, which I believe will come further down the road. But again, interesting times. Warner, I understand why the NBA went with Amazon. And let me explain why to some people who are like, well, I don't understand. Amazon's on the cutting edge of where everybody wants to be. The NFL's already with them. So the NBA is just following suit. It's streaming. It's mass. They have a mass appeal. They have a broader net, marketing dollars, everything else. That's where you want to be. Amazon is absolutely loaded in terms of dollar and, profitability. So you want to be there, especially with them, because as soon as they continue to roll out the latest and greatest of technology and in terms of streaming and everything else like that, you're right there with them. You're partnered. That's what you want. So,
and you'll see the NBA doing what the NFL's already done. Like, I guarantee the NBA will have Black Friday games to go with the biggest shopping day of the year on Amazon. I mean, it works. It is what it is. And I think you're 100% correct. I think Warner knew what they were doing. It was we want to keep this, so let's match. What if we don't? Worst case scenario, we're either beating them in court or we're getting paid to go away. So the NBA is paying us to go away one way or the other.
We are going to we're going to give you a little bit of Rampage spoilers here, because there's a big match. You
tell me Nick Wayne wins the Royal Rampage, I'm signing off right now.
We got the Royal Rampage going on right now. Jeff Jarrett's in it.
Oh, fuck out of here.
What if they
Triple threat match at all?
No.
Danielson, Swerve, and Jeff.
No, Jeff gets the title shot at Grand Slam.
What are we doing?
I didn't say Jeff won the match. Jeff was eliminated. But the interesting point was Hangman Page came down and beat the holy shit out of Jeff Jarrett. So maybe that's where we're headed at Wembley. Hangman Page and Jeff Jarrett.
If you're gonna put Jeff on the card, I guess that's fine. I just don't get it. I don't get this renaissance of Jeff Jarrett's career at 72.
It seems as if Darby's in the match. I don't know if he has been eliminated. But what I am telling you is that Kyle O'Reilly, Jeff Jarrett, Matt Taven, Jay Lethal, Darby, Leo Rush are all in this match.
Jabronis.
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
I mean,
it'll be interesting.
Thanks for spoiling Rampage. I mean, I watch it live every Friday night, but whatever.
Well, you won't be able to watch it live because, first of all, it's taped. Second of all,
watch it on my phone. Why we're at Ring of Honor?
No, you're not.
I watch Rampage every week.
No, you don't. You are so full of shit.
I can't honestly tell you the last episode of
Rampage.
The last episode of Rampage I may have watched was CM Punk's debut.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
So when was that? 2022? 21?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah, no, I don't watch Rampage.
Well, let's try and find out who won this match, and then let's get the hell out of here. Let's find out who.
Corey knows when Punk debuted. That's surprising.
2021. All right. There you go. SummerSlam weekend. He's right. He is right. Let's see if we could find out who won the.
Who cares?
I care.
You're ready for that Leo Rush Swerve match on Rampage?
I just want to know who. I want to know who wins.
Yeah, what about Leo Rush? You know where they screwed up with Leo Rush?
What's up?
Leo Rush. You know what? If Bobby Lashley's going to AEW, put Leo Rush with him.
Oh, you want to talk about that? Do you really think?
I don't give a shit. We can talk about it.
Do you think that those two are headed to, and some others are headed to AEW?
I would guess probably. I mean, it's let me put it this way: if Tony has interest in them, I'm sure they would go. I mean, because that's going to be where they get paid the most. If not, I'm sure they'll go to TNA or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I would think that they do. If Tony wants them, I would think they show up. Do I care? No,
you don't care.
I mean, dude, the Hurt Business was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it was around for 6 months. We act like it was the fucking Shield or something.
Yeah. Darby Allin has won the Royal Rampage. Spoiler alert. Darby Allin has won the Royal Rampage.
After he wins the TNT title and kills Jack Perry, he's going to murder Swerve.
I don't think Swerve's champion at Grand Slam.
Give me a match at Grand Slam or I'm going to set your ass on fire.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. All right. Myself and Blake.
Maybe that's how Danielson retires. Darby just kills him.
Yeah, I don't think so. Blake and myself will be. Like in limo? I don't think so. I don't think so. Blood and Guts was exactly what it was advertised at. It was bloody.
Just say you didn't like it.
I didn't hate
that over and over again. You didn't like it. I know you're worried that you're gonna upset Tony, but you didn't like it.
I don't care. I don't care if I upset him or not.
Tony, did you hear that? Tony, did you hear that?
I don't care. I don't care who I upset. Truthfully,
Tony, did you hear that?
If I like something, I like something. If I don't, I don't. Was this the best Blood and Guts? No, it was not.
It's hard to even remember when.
Corey knows. Corey knows all the Blood and Guts matches.
Of course, Corey knows every match from here to 1947, and he's not even that old.
Myself, Blake will be live in Arlington.
It was definitely better than when Chris Jericho fell on the mattress.
Oh, that was at the that was in Jacksonville. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Who's this 316 MMA guy? He's a big WWE fan, apparently.
You don't say. All right. Well, thank you to Corey for monitoring the chat. Thank you to everybody else who was in there. We really appreciate it. I always appreciate our guy Jay Coyle, Stephen Carson or Casson, Curvin, Scott Steiner, Big Pop Pump's always here. He's always a jam. Billy Sazan. Again,
You don't appreciate 316 MMA?
sure. Miss Mary too. Thank you to 316 MMA. What a dog. We'll be live. We'll be live for Ring of Honor. Huh?
He's probably having a Steve Weiser right now. I mean, I'm just saying.
You're unbelievable.
I know I'm on fire tonight.
I like how you match the shirt with the theme.
It's not even red. It's like kind of more like pink or orange.
Whatever you say,
like,
Taz.
I was trying to be Bret Hart.
Yeah, whatever, Taz. We are out of time. Thank you very much. Thank you to all for joining us. Thank you to Blake. Blake, tell everyone where they can like, subscribe, and follow you. Just do the point. There it is. Blake Mitchmore. He is at Blake Mitchmore.
I want 316 MMA to follow me.
You got a screenshot if he does then, because you're asking for shit. So
yeah, that's who I want to follow me.
Never change, Blake. He never will.
I won't. You can guarantee that.
Please follow Blake.
Hey, I mean, if you want to. The only tweets I had tonight were talking about AEW making jokes about dead people.
Well, you get over it. They do it all the time.
I'm fine with it. It's just like
you don't sound fine with it.
It's just a weird gimmick. Like, hey, you know what? How do we get heat? You know what? My grandma died a couple weeks ago. Make a joke about that, Max.
You know, you're like that
Call her a fat piece of shit.
You're that like girlfriend or wife who's like, yeah, I'm over the fact that you like talk to your ex-girlfriend, but brings it up 97 times. You're not over it. You can't stand it.
Will's grandma just died before the forbidden door. It's not even like.
Who cares? I'm sure Will cleared it.
Yeah, but don't put Max's face as a star on the flag or else you get offended.
Fuck no, brother.
Yeah. It's just like it was one thing when Christian Cage was making, dead dad jokes, but
now everyone's doing it.
I wasn't offended. I was just like, really? Wow. Okay, cool. So this is just our gimmick. Hey, how do we get heat tonight? You know what? My grandma died a couple weeks ago. Just go out there and call her a fat piece of shit.
You want to know what? If you guys see us in Arlington and you don't make a dead relative joke to Blake, then I don't want you around.
You better not. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we got tough guy Blake in the building now. You better not.
I'm not a tough guy, but you make the wrong joke to me about that kind of shit, you might see a difference.
Don't say anything about his pops. Mom, they're both. First of all, whatever. We're not getting into family, but I'm just saying, don't do that.
The wrong joke to me, you might see a different side. That's all I'll say.
Oh, jeez. He's going to break out his orange gear and fucking put you to sleep.
I'll fucking have a black. I'll pull the black towel out, put it over my head.
Oh, God. All right. Well, this was fun. I'm tired. I got a long day tomorrow.
You survive if I let you. Can't say that. That's trademarked.
Don't say that.
Sorry, Taz. Sorry,
Taz. Just a good time. I got to get to bed. Thank you to everybody who jumped in here. Over 600. Thank you to Corey. Thank you to Blake. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Make sure you hit those notifications, that little bell, so when we go live, you will know. We will be in Arlington. We will have a live show in Arlington as well. Me, maybe from my hotel, and Blake from his humble abode, which is not too far from Arlington. So we'll have to wait and see. I look forward to seeing you all.
I just yelled at you in all caps.
Huge fan. Just came back from.
Listen.
Do we see Ricochet versus Pac? No, Billy. No.
Billy.
But thank you for your service.
Hold on, Billy. Yeah,
don't do it.
Thank you for that. But Billy, listen. This dude's head is already big enough. We don't need you saying huge fan, okay?
You have a bigger head than I do. That's proven.
Yeah, I'm talking about your ego, not your actual physical head.
You see me throwing people out of here?
But
I don't have an ego.
yeah. Make jokes about his dead relatives. He loves that. Make jokes about dead relatives while taking him to strip clubs. Perfect.
I do not. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Oh, Billy, I'm just messing with you.
Hey Andrew, we want explanation. Okay, if you got time. What explanation? What do you want to hear? Go ahead. Go ahead, Curvin. What do you want to hear? You got like maybe 60 seconds, buddy. You got maybe 60 seconds. Billy's good people. You got 60 seconds. I'm gonna get out of here.
Donald Trump's in here.
Hey, I did not watch AEW because not a Muppet, and I think if I become president again, I think I should ban AEW.
Boy, that would be something. If
all right, DT.
Pass the law. You know, like, no more AEW.
What happens if Trump pardons Vince and Vince goes, I'm just kidding. What is this? Living Dom, hottest story in pro wrestling. Yes.
We got Donald Trump watching the show. That's wild.
I know. See? Look at that. Crazy, ain't it? That's how far the reach is.
Curvin White gonna ask his question or?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We're gonna get out of here. I don't know what explanation you want, Curvin, but I'm here. Did you say Curvin White? Are you trying to make like a Chavo Guerrero joke?
I was, yeah, actually.
Okay. Well, it didn't land. All right, we're out of here. Appreciate it. Like I said, we'll be in Arlington. If you guys want to stop by, let me know. We'll be at the Live by Lowe's. Buy Blake a drink and then make fun of his dead relatives. I guess he loves it. He's getting out of here. See you guys.